Today, Tuesday, June 16th, 2020. The meeting is scheduled for 10 a.m. It is the meeting was noticed for 10 a.m. It is 10:07 a.m. Dr. Campos can establish quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. We have Commissioner Villegas and Commissioner James that are joining us here at City Hall in the boardroom. We are also joined by Commissioner Caloza that is here in City Hall but dialing in from her office. We are also joined by Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Garcia that are both dialing in remotely from home. And we are also joined by our counsel, Mr. Ted Jordan, dialing in remotely from home. Myself, I'm here with you at City Hall in the boardroom. Mr. President, you do have a quorum at this time. Currently, we do not have anybody lined up for any public comments, and we also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comments section. No speaker cards or anyone that has expressed interest to make a public comment on any of the items is queued up at this time.
Okay, thank you. Then let's go ahead with agenda item number 1, our meeting minutes from the meeting of Friday, June 5th, 2020. Is there a second to my motion that we approve those meeting minutes by Commissioner Villegas? Any objection? We'll test microphones. Any objection, Commissioner Garcia?
No objections.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis, any objections on the meeting minutes?
No objections.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Caloza, same for you.
No objections. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So without objection, the meeting minutes will be approved. Colleagues, agenda item number 9 is the release of a stop payment notice from Robertson's. They've transmitted the release of a stop payment notice in the amount of $1,297.43 for furnishing ready-mix concrete, rock, and/or sand materials to Westpac Concrete Incorporated, the apparent subcontractor, in connection with the Northfield Street Storm Drain Emergency Storm Drain Repair Project. The primary contractor for the project is Clark Contracting Corporation. Is there a second to my motion that we receive agenda item number 9 forthwith by Commissioner Villegas? Any objection, Commissioner Caloza?
No objections.
Thank you. Any objection, Commissioner Garcia?
No objections.
Thank you. Any objection, Commissioner Davis?
None.
Okay, without objection, that'll be the order on agenda item number 9. On agenda item number 8, the Mayor and City Council have approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of Sanitation to execute the personal services contracts with ACCO, that's ACCO, Engineering Systems Incorporated, and Murray Plumbing and Heating Corporation for as-needed specialized maintenance services. This is an item that's been to the Board. It's coming back for signature. Any objection to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 8 forthwith? Commissioner Davis?
No objections.
Okay, no objection on number 8 for Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Garcia?
No objections either.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Caloza?
No objections. Thank you.
Thank you. No objections in the hearing room, so without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 8 forthwith. Agenda item...
Mr. President, that was seconded by Commissioner Villegas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Agenda item number 7 is an authority for expenditure for the YMCA of Metropolitan Los Angeles. Sanitation and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and an execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $540,000 to encumber funding to pay the YMCA of Metropolitan Los Angeles for the utilization of hygiene facilities for unsheltered residents. The term for this expenditure shall cover the services from April 1, 2020 through the end of this fiscal year, which is June 30th, 2020. Dr. Campos, is this one of the items that will need an amendment regarding mayoral approval?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. See, I'm finally starting to catch on to that after only 90 days. Let's go to Mr. Potter on the line for number 7.
Good morning, President James, Commissioners Caloza, Davis, Garcia, and Villegas, Executive Officer Dr. Campos, City Attorney, and Bureau Representatives, which there are not many of. I'm Robert Potter, Division Manager for Support Services Division with LA Sanitation and Environment. LA Sanitation is requesting authorization for an authority for expenditure in the amount of $540,000 with the YMCA of Metropolitan Los Angeles for the utilization of 9 hygiene facilities to be available to unsheltered residents during the period of the COVID-19 emergency, which at this time is expected to be 3 months, but may be extended. The YMCA agreed for LA San to utilize the showers, bathrooms, and locker rooms of 9 of their facilities. LA San will pay the YMCA $20,000 per month per facility at the beginning of each month. This will total up to $540,000 for 3 months. Front funding for this agreement in the amount of $540,000 is available in the Solid Waste Resource Revenue Fund number 508, appropriation unit 50XL82, and there will be a reimbursement to that fund made through the COVID-19 funds. With that said, I'm open for any questions.
All right, thank you. We'll start with Commissioner Caloza. Any questions on this payment of funds for the services? We had some discussion about this several weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for the, thanks, President James. I just had a question about what the plans are after this period of time. Is there any talks right now for an extension, knowing that COVID-19 is not going to be over come June, unfortunately?
So I would say, Commissioner Caloza, yes. The mayor's office is the driver on this. There are discussions between the YMCA and the mayor's office. The LOA that we entered into does have language that allows for the extension of the terms. I think it states that if the mayor declares the emergency to be longer, then we are able to continue the services. But we would have to come back to the board for funding.
Got it. And I think I saw some numbers a few weeks ago. Are there any that you want to share that you have offhand about utilization of all the different sites with YMCA?
Sure, of course. And it's we started out the first week and tried to get everything in line, and there was a couple hundred unsheltered Angelinos that were able to use it. Since then, we've escalated that or elevated that up to, I think last week, which was week 10 of the program, we had 1,308 unsheltered residents that were able to utilize it. Our current total usage as of yesterday, so the numbers from yesterday was 9,673 showers have been given out through the YMCA. So we anticipate either today, if we have a good day, or Wednesday to hit the 10,000 mark, which is a great accomplishment.
Great. Okay. I don't have any other questions. Thank you for sharing those recent numbers, Robert.
Of course, of course.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Caloza. Commissioner Davis.
Yes, Mr. Potter, I wanted to ask in terms of the effectiveness of the program, in terms of communicating with this program as well as the mobile shower program. I found that there was an interrelationship between the two services that was available to those individual unsheltered who needed to have showers during this period of time. From your experience, have you felt that the program has been helpful in terms of the feedback that you're getting from sanitation department?
Yes, I think it's 100% helpful to the unsheltered residents that need the showers, and the interaction between the two. There are areas where we have unsheltered residents or unsheltered Angelinos that are not interested in being transported to facilities, and the mobile hygiene units are essential in those areas so that we can provide the level of service that's needed, but without having to do the transportation elements. In other areas, we've noticed on the west side that people are very comfortable with the transportation to the facility and have participated that way. So the two of them tied together, I think, has been a very successful partnership, utilizing both programs.
Right, and as we move on this item, and I certainly support it, I would like to underscore how the detail of what services that we have provided in this most critical health challenge for our city has been commendable. That not only did we provide the information and education on what citizens of Los Angeles should do, but with great detail, we provided a service that is available to perhaps our most vulnerable citizens. And if, in fact, we had left them cared for, then certainly in such a healthcare crisis as this, it would have been to our own detriment. So I want to commend sanitation for the work that you have done, the collaboration that you have executed with the mobile program, and say that this is a critically important service that perhaps others who were watching Los Angeles and saying that we did education very quickly and we shut down institutions very rapidly may not have noticed the detail by which we were able to provide services to the homeless. And this is, I think, a great example. And I'm pleased to support the funding of this program. And I'm sure the mayor's office will make an assessment in terms of if we need to continue this as the spikes, unfortunately, continue because of the various activities that have occurred throughout the country, quite frankly. So again, thank you so very much for the work that sanitation has been doing around this particular service.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Any questions? Commissioner Garcia.
I do. Thank you, President James. Porter, I want to echo some of what David said. We're very happy and proud of this program went up so fast and so quickly during the time that most of our Angelinos needed it. Have we started thinking of what long-term looks like? I know that this is a drive from the mayor's office and not necessarily, we don't know what the assessment's going to be like when it's time. But my question is, I know that YMCA eventually is going to need their facilities back, and kids will eventually occupy those facilities if what those facilities were for. So have we thought about how we would continue to supply some type of same service once this is happening? And if not, that's okay, because I know we're not the ones driving this, but maybe we should think of a plan afterward, and just to see what would be our plan B to all of this.
Well, I would say yes. Through our Livability Services Division, we have the mobile hygiene units that Commissioner Davis had discussed, how we integrated those into this partnership with the YMCA. So currently we have 4 or 5 or 6, depending on their availability, operating. But long term, there'll be additional mobile hygiene units acquired and utilized in the field. So I think that I think as one starts to go down, the other one will start to come up, so that we can make sure that we look out for those unsheltered residents that need our assistance.
Good. Okay, good to hear that. Thank you. Keep us posted on that, Potter, once you guys have kind of a definite answer, or once we know that YMCA is going to want to take their facilities back and go back to attending the kids.
Of course, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Villegas. No questions in the hearing room. Mr. Potter, thank you all to your team. They're amazing. They've been standing there behind you the whole time. They have not moved. So they'll want to shake it off a little.
Well, I think the one person I really want to recognize is Janice Murray, who was the lead on this and the project manager, who stepped in right away to take care of this. So Janice deserves all the credit.
Well, and you just stepped right on my compliment of Janice
Murray
there, Mr. Potter. So that's okay. You're reading my mind. No, I completely agree with you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Janice, for the work and the daily updates and the coordination and as we march on. That certainly sounded like a motion from at least Commissioners Caloza and Davis. Am I right about that?
That's correct.
All right, and that's a motion, by the way, that's subject to mayoral approval. I'll second it after Commissioner Caloza and Davis's motion, along with Commissioner Garcia and Commissioner Villegas. So there's your order on agenda item number 7 as amended. Dr. Campos, did you get everything on that one? Okay, and we can send that forthwith as well. Agenda item number 5. Council District number 4, street closure, Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority West Side Purple Line Extension Project, Orange Grove Avenue between Wilshire Boulevard and 8th Street, the Wilshire Fairfax Station Box, recommending that the board first adopt the West Side Purple Line Extension Project Section 1 Updated California Environmental Quality Act Technical Memorandum, post record of decision full disclosures, or rather full closures, north portion of South Orange Grove Avenue through January 31, 2022. So that's about 18 months, colleagues. Dated May 14, 2020. Secondly, approve the request to extend the ongoing temporary street closure of Orange Grove Avenue between Wilshire Boulevard and 8th Street to January 31, 2022, subject to the conditions identified within the previously approved board report, dated October 18, 2019, and the conditions below. I know we have a number of callers on the line. If we have anyone from the public that's here to speak on the item, would you please hit *9 to raise your hand so we can call you in? Otherwise, I know that we have a number of representatives from Metro that are here, colleagues, in case we have any questions related to any aspect of the closure. We'll start with Larry Hsu from Engineering.
Good morning. This is Larry Hsu from the Bureau of Engineering, Metro Transit Division. This request is for an extension of an ongoing street closure in support of the Metro West Side Purple Line Extension Section 1 project. This project extends Purple Line from the existing terminus at the Wilshire Western Station to the west, 3.92 miles along Wilshire Boulevard, includes 2 new stations in the city of Los Angeles at La Brea and Fairfax, and 1 station in the city of Beverly Hills at La Cienega. On October 18th, 2019, your board approved a street closure on Orange Grove between Wilshire Boulevard and 8th Street for 8 months, starting on October 18th and ending on June 18th, 2020. This closure was needed to facilitate the excavation for the Wilshire Fairfax Station entrance. The current request is to extend this existing ongoing closure an additional 18 months from June 19th, this Friday, to January 31st, 2022 to complete the work, as well as additional phases of work associated with the Wilshire Fairfax Station entrance. It is BOE's understanding that Metro and their contractor, Skanska Trelachey, had originally planned to reopen Orange Grove to traffic this Friday, 6/19, then later requesting another street closure to complete the work in this location. However, the originally planned work was not completed due to delays associated with the tunnel boring machine, which was delayed due to encountering gas pockets as it tunneled from La Brea towards Fairfax. The closed section of Orange Grove is adjacent to the Peterson Automotive Museum, which continues to have access to their garage, and the residents on Orange Grove will continue to have access to the south via 8th Street. LADOT has reviewed and approved the worksite traffic control plan for the proposed closure, I should say the ongoing closure. Additionally, the Traffic Management Committee reviews traffic impacting permits to minimize any conflict with ongoing construction activities in the vicinity of the closure. CEQA clearance has been obtained. Additionally, the major BOE design approvals have been obtained for this closure. Council District 4 has indicated their support of the extension and associated peak hour exemptions. In addition, Metro's public relations team has performed outreach for this extension. Lastly, the staff of BOE, LADOT, Metro, and STS are in attendance to answer any questions or concerns you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. We've been sitting here trying to come up with something funny and clever to say about the fact that you're on a landline calling in. And I've been unable to come up with...
This mic is better than my other setup, yeah.
My wit has escaped me this morning on that topic. But colleagues, we have representatives from Metro as well. Why don't we start with Commissioner Garcia on this item?
I actually don't have any questions. I was briefed by Larry last week, so I got all my questions in. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Davis?
None. I'm fine.
Thank you. Commissioner Caloza?
Thanks, President James. Thanks, Larry, for the explanation. I thought it'd be helpful to get some additional background from Metro, just to share for the record about, why the extension period went from 8 months to now almost 18 months. And I know you shared some of the issues with the tunnel boring machine, but thought it'd be good to give them an opportunity to share directly with the board and anybody else listening in, since this is an extended period of time for this closure.
Anybody from Metro can weigh in on that?
Yes, anyone from Metro that would like to respond to Commissioner Caloza's question, you can hit star 9.
Star 6 to unmute your microphone.
Star 6 to unmute. Is Gary Baker on the line?
No, this is not Gary Baker's project.
Oh. Sorry about that. Yeah. My bad. That would explain why he's not on the line.
Hey, Larry, this is Brian Hancock with Metro. Is John Yen out there? He was supposed to call in and provide this explanation. I'm just curious. No John Yen? All right. Well, I will jump into this. The main portion for the delay was the gas alarms, you could say. OSHA, we have a pretty high threshold to set off these alarms. So every time one of these alarms went off down in the tunnel, the crew had to jump off the machine, run all the way back out into the tunnel to where the station was and clear the station. OSHA had to come back in, clear the alarms, and say, okay, everybody can enter back in. I think John reported over 200 alarms that went off. So that was a pretty substantial delay. The other item too was, John admitted he should have been a little more upfront at the last request because their intent was always to come back in at the end of the project and do this, the second closure. But now that with all these delays, their thinking was, well, if we picked it up now and then we went back in and closed it back down in 6 months, that's not doing anybody any favors either. So by keeping it closed, we can hopefully make up some of that schedule that was lost and just continue with the entrance structure that was the main portion for why we requested initially, was to get that, the escalator and elevator entry down into the tunnel, or the station.
And I just have some follow-up questions for you. Thank you for sharing that. Larry shared similar explanation on the briefing, but thought it would be helpful for everyone to hear as well. And this closure for 18 months, do you expect that this will allow Metro to complete the work needed for this section? Or do you expect to return back to the board for a future closure?
John with Skanska has assured us that they will not be asking for any more extensions at Orange Grove.
Okay, thank you for confirming that. And then just one last question for me on the notification and the outreach that you have done to impacted stakeholders. Did you receive any negative comments or anyone opposed to this 18-month closure?
This is Ned Racine with PLE Construction Relations.
Hey, there's Ned.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners, President James. We received no negative comments regarding the closure. Our outreach was guided by Rob Fisher of CD4. We sent the construction notice to Mid-City Community Council as well as the Peterson. Representing the Peterson now is Jennifer Yates, the registrar. I have talked with her before this new extension, during the extension, to make sure that she had access loading and unloading vehicles. We've reassured her again that when the Peterson reopens, that we will make allowances for her to use North Orange Grove to bring in the rather large vehicles that carry vehicles. She's fine with that. We never received negative comments from residents near the Peterson regarding the closure of Orange Grove because we ensured that access remained for the residents. I didn't receive a negative comment from Mid-City West Community Council. And as I said before, we continue in communication with Peterson. We issued a construction notice on the 29th of April with the proviso that the final closure required approval from the City of Los Angeles, and that closure has remained in our weekly look ahead. Since then, it continues to this date. So again, as a summary, our outreach was guided by the wishes of CD4.
Great, thank you for sharing the summary of that, Mr. Racine. I see you again from the Regional Connector Tour.
Nice to see you.
But I don't have any further questions. I just wanted to make sure to capture this detail in the public record and appreciate the work that you did leading up to this extended closure.
Thank you, Commissioner Caloza. Any further questions? Commissioner Caloza, any further questions?
Oh, sorry, no further questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioner Davis?
I'm fine on the item.
Oh, I've already asked you. Okay, Commissioner, sorry about that. Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you, President James. Thanks for the clarification on Metro's part, just on the outreach. I had questions about that as well. I just see in the report that there's just low impacts to just various construction-related items, and it's in line with CEQA in terms of the street closure that is going to be taking place. You know, I don't really necessarily have a question. I more have a concern, and maybe our board can help answer this, or maybe not, I'm not sure. But isn't Skanska the same company that we have maybe some concerns about on other projects?
They are, my understanding is they are different, they may be different divisions. The bridge division is different than the division on this. Is that correct, Mr. Hsu?
I don't know that.
Okay.
But I know they're in the same company, but I don't know their internal structure.
I think you are correct, President James, that in the nature of the kind of construction in and of itself, bridges, civil engineering on one hand, and then on the other hand, this transportation work is, I think, a little slightly different, if I'm not mistaken. But we definitely need to let's reconfirm that, though.
I even think that and Metro can confirm this. The names may even be different. What's the name of the contractor on this project for Metro? The official name other than Skanska?
Skanska Trailer Shay.
I'm sorry, Mr. I'm sorry, I don't have your last name, but go ahead, sir. I don't know who's talking to me. Mr. Hancock, I saw your name. Can you tell me what the Skanska name?
Yeah, it's a joint venture of Skanska, Trailer Brothers, and Shea on this project.
Okay, that's different than...
Trailer Brothers is the main tunneling one. Skanska and Shea are building the stations. Now, yes, the group working on the 6th Street Bridge is a completely different division of Skanska. That's called, I think we have Skanska...
That's Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck. Yeah, that's SSW. Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification. These are just large projects. It's our fiduciary responsibility just to ask. I appreciate the clarification.
All right, thank you. No further questions. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 5.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Villegas. Any objection, Commissioner Garcia?
No objections.
Thank you. Any objection, Commissioner Caloza?
No objections, thank you.
All right, thank you. So without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Any issue sending 5 forthwith? We will send number 5 forthwith. Mr. Hsu, thank you. And Mr. Hancock, thank you to you and the colleagues from Metro as well for participation this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Have a great day. That moves us to agenda item number 6. That's a requested contract award for engineering, transportation, contract administration for Council Districts 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 13, and 15. KDC Incorporated doing business as Dyne Electric. It's a highway safety improvement program, Cycle 6, Projects 1, 2, and 4. It is a federal project, and the federal number is on the agenda. Recommending that the board first declare KDC doing business as Dyne Electric the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder. Secondly, award Dyne Electric a contract for the project for $4,499,200.14. And third, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. We have Mr. Hunt from engineering on the line.
Morning, Commissioners. President James, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Hunt. I'm a senior transportation engineer for the Los Angeles Department of Transportation, LADOT, and I oversee the Complete Streets Implementation Division. I'm here today to confirm LADOT support for awarding the Highway Safety Improvement Program Cycle 6, Project 1, 2, and 4, the lowest responsible bidder, KDC Incorporated, DBA Dyne Electric, as recommended in the board report before you. Just to provide you with a brief background on the Highway Safety Improvement Program, it is a federal aid program with the purpose of achieving significant reductions in traffic fatalities and serious injuries on public roadways. This construction contract will meet these goals by installing new traffic signals, as well as upgrading existing left turn phasing at 14 different intersections across the city, including upgrading curb ramps as well as street lighting. We understand the lowest bid is approximately 20% higher than the city engineer's estimate, and we have thoroughly reviewed this estimate. In fact, we reviewed all the bids for this contract, and I found no anomalies other than the fact that it's a minimal increase to construction and labor costs across the board. In order to prevent further delays to these safety improvement projects and to the potential loss of federal grants that come along with those, if they haven't paid back funding that we've already spent, we've secured the additional funding needed to award this contract. Again, I'm here to confirm LADOT's support for awarding this contract, and thank you for your time and consideration. And I want to make myself available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Nice to see you again.
Pleasure. Nice to see you.
So, Commissioner Caloza, we'll start with you on agenda item number 6.
Great. Thank you, President James. And I'm not sure if it was just my internet here in my office, but I think you were breaking up a little bit, Mr. Hunt, in terms of your explanation. And so if I asked you anything that you may have said already and maybe it didn't come out clear when it was received on my end or maybe in the recording, I'm just going to ask you again. Can you just provide a little bit more background about when this project was first initiated and what year that was?
Sure. The Highway Safety Improvement Program has basically a call every 2 years. This call was back in 2013, so we were awarded funds back in 2013, late 2013, November. It's typically a 4-year turnaround time on these projects. If there's no delays or no changes in standards for, hardly ever, if you will, 4 years. But it's a typical 6-year turnaround time on average, I would estimate. This one's extending further than that already, and we're kind of anxious to get this moving forward because we've asked for many extensions already from Caltrans, and they're already balking at further extensions. So rebidding this is not really an option at this point because we've gone so long.
Right. So 2013 was kind of the initial start of this project, and the original estimate that was a combination of both the Department of Transportation, the Bureau of Engineering, and the Bureau of Street Lighting. When did that bid estimate, what year was that conducted?
Because this process requires authorization from Caltrans to move forward with any given phase of the project, we submitted cost estimates back to Caltrans in summer of 2018 as part of the authorization package to move forward with construction. So the initial bid that we put in for the construction and engineering estimate was from summer of 2018. We have subsequently updated that cost estimate by re-reviewing it, if you will, and it is within 20% now.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. And I just wanted to make sure to make that clear with my colleagues since, I was briefed on this item. And, I know one of my concerns was the question of the percent this was over the original estimate. And so if you look at the chart here on page 3 of the board report, originally it says that it's 66.66% over the estimate. And so upon getting briefed and just working more thoroughly with the teams, I wanted to make sure that our record was clear and understanding what happened here. And so in this case, there was a long lapse of time between when the estimate started and was put together versus when the contract award happened. And so there's I know that's probably oversimplifying it a little bit too much. There's a lot more detail of what happened in between those years specific to the Complete Streets project, but just wanted to make sure that everyone had the full context here that upon the recalculation, the bid is actually closer to 20% over the current estimate put together by city staff. And I know this is over the amount we would traditionally like to be at when it comes to bids But I think upon Mr. Hunt's explanation and what I've heard from our teams, that there is funding here at stake, given the length of time that has passed for this project since they first started working on this 7 years ago, as you heard, in 2013. And so I just wanted to make sure to add that point in there, and just also want to thank DOT, BOE, BSL for putting in, I know, many more hours to recalculating this. I'm sorry to give you extra work, but I thought this was really important to make sure that we contextualize this. But I just wanted to add that in addition to what Mr. Hunt said as part of his presentation. So I don't have any other questions, but just wanted to add that as context for this item, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Caloza, for the homework on this and for the context that helps us move this along. We appreciate it. I think it makes the record obviously much more complete and understandable, so we appreciate that, along with Mr. Hunt's explanation. Commissioner Davis, any questions? Commissioner Davis?
Can you hear me now?
We've got you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my only concern was, in fact, obviously, we know that when you delay construction projects, that the cost certainly escalates. The cost is not standing still. I think that Commissioner Caloza kind of explored some of the issues and concerns that I would have had, but yet at the same time, I do recognize, despite all of what we would like for it to be, that we do have to move forward on the project. So I don't have any questions, but just those comments as we move forward on this, and hopefully we in the future will be lucky enough to get something that's within the estimates that we give. And I know sometimes there's a difference between what primes see and what they assess in cost and that which we estimate. So again, we'll move forward on this project as far as I am concerned, understanding the challenges that we've had in both timing and then as well as in our commitment to move forward so that we don't lose funding.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. And Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, President James. Thank you, Commissioner Caloza, for that explanation. It really answered a lot of the questions I have. I do have a question, though, and you probably said it through your presentation, and just to be clear, this program started in 2013. Have we not finished yet? And if we haven't finished, when do we expect for all these 14 streetlights to be completed and done?
If this goes through the board, gets the approval, and then I believe it has to have mayor approval as well, we will award this contract. I believe it is a 2-year construction contract. It's 500 and some odd days, which I believe ends up being a 2-year construction contract for 14 locations. So construction will start as soon as we can award this project. So
we're expecting it to be done, if it gets awarded, goes through the process this year. So we're thinking 2022, 23 is when we'll be, these lights will be.
For the completion, yes. Yeah. That is correct. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Any questions, Commissioner Villegas? All right, I'm good as well. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 6, seconded by Commissioner Villegas. Anybody else on the second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Caloza. Commissioner Davis, any objection?
None.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Any objection?
No, none.
All right, and this is subject to amendment, as Mr. Hunt mentioned a moment ago, subject to mayoral approval, which is our required amendment now. So that's the motion in the 2 seconds. Dr. Campos, you have that?
Yes.
All right, so without objection, that'll be the order. Mr. Hunt, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Commissioners.
And we'll send this item forthwith. That takes us to agenda item number 3, which is a contract amendment from the Office of Community Beautification, Council Districts 1, 8, and 10, Koreatown Youth and Community Center, recommending that the board first authorize OCB, subject to transfer and appropriation, to execute a contract amendment with Koreatown Youth and Community Center in the amount of $75,000 for hiring of summer youth workers. And secondly, authorize the president or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the city attorney. Mr. Paul Roch is on the line on number 3.
Good morning. Yes, Paul Roch, Director of the Office of Community Beautification. Koreatown Youth and Community Center is one of the nonprofit community-based organizations under contract with OCB for graffiti removal and public right-of-way cleanup services. This morning, we're requesting board approval to amend an existing contract to provide funding for the hiring of summer youth workers to assist with these community beautification efforts. Though there will be less summer youth hired this year than in previous years due to both budget restrictions and the COVID-19 situation, we do anticipate OCB contractors being able to provide about 100 to 150 summer jobs to Los Angeles area youth. Several other OCB contractors have previously received funding to be used for summer youth hiring. Among these are Coalition for Responsible Community Development, New Directions for Youth, Hollywood Beautification Team, and the Gang Alternatives Program. These funds would be directed towards the hiring of summer youth through the Koreatown Youth and Community Center, which services portions of Council Districts 1, 4, 8, and 10. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roch. Any questions at all, Commissioner Garcia?
No questions on my end. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Caloza.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis, any questions?
Yes, Mr. Roch, I wanted to ask, when will this summer youth employment program start this year?
We're anticipating, the contractors have already obviously started outreach and had a lot of inquiries to summer youth or from youth in their areas. Some of them have already started hiring and probably have even brought people on board at this point. For KYCC, once they find out that the funds would be available, they also would be able to pretty much start immediately. So, you know, probably within the next week to 2 weeks, we anticipate all those contractors that will be able to utilize summer youth of having some people on board.
And what did you say this year's goal is in the numbers that we have as compared to what we've done in the past?
Yeah, in past years, we've been able to hire maybe around 300 youth throughout the summer. This year, we're looking at probably 100 to 150. Again, part of that is just, you know, a little bit less budget than previously, but the other part is just because of the COVID-19 restrictions, you know, they can't have as many youth that they maybe throw into a van or have at a center or anything like that.
Understood. What kind of precautions are we taking this year as compared to last year's program where we obviously worked with 300 youth then? Obviously, you have mentioned that the distancing challenge is something that you have thought about. What are the other kinds of precautions that you've had to think about in implementing this year's program in this environment?
Yeah, well, certainly, you know, youth will be provided with personal protective equipment, gloves, face masks, all of the vehicles utilized by the contractors carry hand sanitizer with them and various types of hand washing stations, making sure that the youth are spread out, not consolidated into too close of a space, finding adequate work sites where they can do that. You know, other things as far as, you know, just I think making sure that they're aware of it and supervising not just the youth, but also the workers of all of our contractors to make sure that they take those considerations into consideration. Also, I believe they will be doing temperature checks in the mornings when the youth or any of their employees arrive, just to assess their health situation, make sure nobody's feeling under the weather.
Wonderful. Well, I think that we are in most difficult times in terms of public health. Obviously, no one needs to be reminded of how infectious COVID-19 is, but at the same time, I think that it is important that we are able to still provide this service to the public in terms of employment for our youth. Though limited it might be this year, I want to commend you for taking on this very serious, very necessary, but yet very much appreciated summer youth program this year. So thank you for your being able to have the courage to get in there during this time and implementing the necessary precautions to make sure that young people in Los Angeles during the summer months get the opportunity to experience employment. I like that.
Absolutely, I agree. Not all of our contractors felt that they would be able to provide the safety needed, but definitely for those that are, we want to have the resources available.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Thank you, Mr. Roch. Any questions, Commissioner Villegas? Okay. I don't think we have anybody else with questions. So, Commissioner Davis, was that a motion I heard from you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
A second.
Well, that's a second by Commissioner Garcia. And Dr. Campos, this is not one that is subject to amendment, or is it?
Give me 1 second.
It's not on your list, but I just thought it might be, so I thought I would ask. And Mr. Jordan, you can feel free to join the discussion on whether or not this should be subject to a mayoral approval if you have a thought on that.
At first thought, I believe it
Yeah,
does.
I don't know if the additional funding has been, if it was already approved by the mayor during that council process, it would be. Otherwise, it would be subject to mayor's approval.
Yeah, I guess for me, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, point of clarification for Paul Roch, subject to transfer and appropriations, have the monies already been transferred and the authority already received? If it has not, then...
the money is currently in the Board of Public Works Contractual Services account.
Okay, so we don't need to submit, or do we?
Not really. That doesn't answer the question.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Was this particular amendment and the funding for this particular amendment specifically approved by the mayor?
Yeah, my recommendation
Being
would
in your
be
budget doesn't answer
Safest thing to do is to do it.
Send it to the mayor for approval. We can ask for a rush request and see if we can get that approved.
Yeah, ask for a rush request and let me know if you need help. Mr. Roch, we're going to add the amendment just to be safe on this, but we'll try and expedite it for you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. So that's Commissioner Davis's motion, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Any objection, Commissioner Caloza?
No objections.
Thank you. Commissioner Villegas? All right, and no objections in the hearing room. So that'll be the order on agenda item number 4. And without objection, we'll send it, agenda item number 3. So without objection, we'll send agenda item number 3 back for approval. And a correction, Dr. Campos, that number 3 was on your list. I was thinking we were on number 4. So Dr. Campos batting 1,000 today on that issue. Now we move to agenda item number 4, contract amendment, community partners for city plants. This is the one that doesn't require the additional approval because it's a contract extension, or does it?
It's an actual term contract extension, and
term,
that has already
right.
been authorized by City Council, and Paul Roch will present the reasons behind that.
We'll get there in a moment. Agenda item number 4, contract amendment, community partners, city plants. Recommending that the board first authorize OCB to execute a contract amendment with community partners to extend the term of the contract for city plants tree planting coordination through June of 2021. So that's through the end of next fiscal year, which starts July 1. Secondly, authorize the president or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the city attorney. Mr. Roch, on number 4.
Yes, good morning again. Community Partners is a nonprofit community-based organization. They serve as the contracting agency to administer the city plants program as part of the sidewalk repair tree replacement project. The current contract with Community Partners is set to expire on June 30th of this year. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation, at this point, We've not yet been able to release an RFP for these services. We do anticipate doing so probably in late summer, early fall of this year. However, on May 29th of this year, the Los Angeles City Council did authorize the heads of various city departments to extend contracts for up to 1 year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This board action would allow the contract term to be extended through June 30th of 2021. No additional funding is being provided into the contract at this point, as there are adequate funds currently in the contract. We're only requesting approval to extend the term for an additional year.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roch. Any questions on number 4, Commissioner Garcia?
I know I don't have any questions quite yet.
Okay. Commissioner Caloza, any questions on number 4?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis?
None. None.
All right, Commissioner Villegas and Commissioner James are clear. Let's go back to one more opportunity for Commissioner Garcia. I heard a hesitation.
I did. No, I'm okay. I'm clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Then I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 4. Dr. Campos?
Second.
That's a second by Commissioner Garcia. Are we in agreement that number 4 does not need the additional mayoral approval?
That is correct. Ordinance number 186636 that was adopted by the City Council authorizes this board to extend terms of the contract for up to 1 year. So there's 2 provisions under that ordinance. One is for just extension to the term, and then there's a second provision in the ordinance that allows you to waive some of the emergency contractor limitations. So we are using the first part of the ordinance.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos, on that. So that's my motion with a second by Commissioner Garcia. Any objection, Commissioner Caloza?
No objections, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis, any objection?
No, none.
Okay, and Commissioner Villegas? We're good, so that's that'll be approved on agenda item number 4. Without issue, we'll send number 4 forthwith. That moves us to agenda item number 2, which is our tree removal this morning. This is for Council Districts 1, 2, and 9, bid package number 56. This is for the city sidewalk repair program, recommending that the board first find that the tree removal classifies as operation, repair, maintenance, or minor alteration of an existing street, sidewalk, and gutter involving negligible or no expansion of use beyond that previously existing and does not involve the removal of a scenic resource. Secondly, the action is exempt under Article 3, Section 1, Class 1, Category 3. That's for existing facilities for sidewalk repair or maintenance of the City of Los Angeles Environmental Quality Act guidelines from 2002. And third, that none of the exceptions to the use of a categorical exemption as set forth in Section 15300.2 of the state CEQA guidelines apply. And secondly, review and approve the tree removal permit request for the removal of 5 street trees, which includes 1 camphor tree, 1 American sweet gum tree, and 3 Indian laurel fig trees for the reconstruction of an off-grade sidewalk, curb, and gutter. Tree replacements are required. Mr. Banuelos, before we go to you, Dr. Campos, just because we have a tree removal in front of us, would you just double check the line to make sure we don't have any folks wanting to speak on this?
And you read my mind. We do have one caller on the line. Members of the public who wish to offer public comments on item number 2. The Board of Public Works is now considering item number 2, which is a tree removal. If you can press star 9 to raise your hand to speak. Members of the public who would wish to offer a public comment on item number 2, please press star 9. We have one person, phone number ending in 445, that's calling in from their device. If you can press star 9 if you wish to speak on this item, item number 2. Last opportunity, caller ending in 445. If you'd like to offer any public comments on item number 2, please press star 9. See no response, Mr. President, you are clear.
All right, thank you. Mr. Banuelos on number 2.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, President James, Honorable Commissioners. This is Hector Banuelos with the Bureau of Streets LA Urban Forestry Division. What we have before us is a request for the board to approve the removal of 5 street trees as part of the Bureau of Engineering Sidewalk Repair Program bid package number 56 in Council Districts 1, 2, and 9. The Streets LA, within this package, there are 51 locations identified for sidewalk repair, of which 51 trees are going to be impacted. The trees that are being impacted, there are 3 of them in poor condition and health, overall health, and probably for that reason alone, they should be removed. Those are one Indian laurel fig tree at 743 South Carolina Rolette Street in Council District 1, and one American sweet gum tree in 6749 North Atoll Avenue in Council District 2. And there was also one camper tree at 1219 East 56th Street, which is in poor condition, very sparse crown, not doing very well, and severely outgrown its growing space. There is one Indian laurel fig tree, a very large mature tree, growing at 1225 East 56th Street. It's growing directly adjacent to a driveway approach, and there are no alternative measures seem to be available to preserve or even consider preserving that tree due to its location and the amount, the severity of the disruption of the sidewalk and the driveway there. There's one tree we did reach out to Bureau of Engineering to ask to see if any alternatives can be implemented to save one tree at 1213 East 56th Street in Council District 9. And however, the Bureau of Engineering responded back and indicating that there does not appear to be any methods available that that can be implemented to save that tree. Unfortunately, the tree appears to need to be removed. So therefore, there are 5 trees altogether that need removal in order for the sidewalk repair program to implement the sidewalk repairs and driveways and gutters and work. If approved, the Bureau of Engineering contractor will replant 10 24-inch box-sized trees in the immediate adjacent or at the locations there where the trees are removed within the respective council districts. The trees, once planted, the trees will be watered by the Streets LA for a minimum of 3-year period. The Jose Rodriguez of Council District 1, Jeffrey Zeta of Council District 2, and Bryce Rosaro of Council District 9 were notified of the tree removal permit request. The Community Forestry Advisory Committee and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment were also notified of the tree removal permit request. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. Any questions on agenda item number 2, Commissioner Davis?
I don't have any at this point.
Okay, Commissioner Garcia on number 2.
None either.
All right, Commissioner Caloza.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up question for me. Thank you, President. For the notification, did anybody raise any objections when you let the council offices know?
No, no objections were received by the Urban Forestry.
Okay, all right. Thank you for confirming that.
Right, and again, I'm sorry, go ahead, Commissioner Caloza.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I don't have any other questions. I just wanted to double check that.
Okay. And I would note that the record does have various property owners' authorizations for tree removals that they include in these when we have them. So thank you for that, Mr. Banuelos. Any questions, Commissioner Villegas? Okay, then I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Caloza. Commissioner Davis, did I hear you as well?
Yes.
All right,
okay.
thank you. Any objection, Commissioner Garcia?
No objections.
All right, and no objection in the hearing room. So that'll be the order on agenda item number 2. It does not require a mayoral approval amendment. So any issue sending number 2 forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. Dr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
All right, so we are adjourned, colleagues. If there is another meeting this week, which we anticipate, it will be notified at the appropriate time. Everyone have a nice, safe rest of the week. We are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.